you've lived in Slovakia for many years. You lived in Ukraine for many years.
Yeah.
Georgia, you've been here for how many years?
Coming up on 11. Yeah.
Crazy. And which one am I leaving out?
Russia.
Russia for a couple of years.
Couple years.
Right.
Yeah.
Where to next? You're going to go to China?
So I don't even see myself as a traveler.
Yes. Well, you
Because-
live.
that's
you,
right,
You
that's
immerse yourself.
Yeah.
You're not a pussy like me who just kind of like
Skimming the cream
Yes,
up of every
exactly,
country.
right.
Ah, this cream tastes good.
That's
It's
right.
better than the last
And
one.
I don't realize that there's a big piece of meat underneath that cream.
Yeah. There's meat all the way down.
Exactly.
Lots of meat.
Turtles all the way down.
The longer you stay, the better you know the language, the more
Of
opportunities
course.
you
Of
have.
course.
So,
Of course.
um,
They're very. You certainly immerse yourself fully, and you're going to be able to. That's why I'm curious to pick up your lessons that you've learned that took you years to learn, and something I would utterly miss because I'm just a tourist.
yeah. So my next country, if there is one, might be Turkey. When the war started in Ukraine, I realized that, at least for the time being, both Russia and Ukraine are just off limits for me. They're closed. And so there goes my plan B. I always had a plan B, if I get tired of Georgia, I just, I can go back and spend some time in Ukraine. Well, that's off the...
But hold on, I mean, it's
table
off
right now.
the table right now. Maybe if the war ends in the middle
Absolutely.
of 2023, you could go there and help the reconstruction.
Absolutely. And there would probably be a huge boom, and it'd be a very interesting time to
Yeah,
be in Ukraine.
and they need CIA operatives there too.
Yeah, that's why we send you.
You stole my joke. I was trying to blame you as a CIA operative. I thought CIA people live in the country and kind of blend in with the population.
I
guess not.
honestly I don't know, but the legend.
I wonder
is,
how many people think
the
you're
legend is
CIA.
that
Come on.
they speak the local language perfectly, but honestly I don't trust the government to train people at that level.
Got it.
Yeah.
If you were advising somebody to consider living in those four countries, let's say the year 2025.
Okay.
So maybe the war in Ukraine is settled. So and Russia is kind of somewhat normal, and so therefore it's open for anybody to move into any of these countries. Which one would you tell this is the country you should go to? I mean, obviously it's a broad thing because everybody has different values and all that kind of stuff. But which one is like something a nice place to live?
Well, those are two different questions. A nice place to live and the place to go to. I think Ukraine will be a very interesting country.
I'm talking about to live in.
Yeah.
To live in.
Well, Ukraine would be a place you'd go if you want to see and be part of the rebuilding of a country.
Okay.
Russia, I think there are too many questions there to answer.
Got it.
Is
Yeah,
the country still intact?
Right. But hold
Is
on.
there-
Stop for a second.
Uh-huh.
Is there a way, like, for Russians, they might think they've already broken up into 15 pieces, right? Because some of them consider the republics, the 15 republics, well, there are 14 other ones besides Russia, as part of them. If the United States were to break up, I would say, okay, Alaska's going to break off, Hawaii's going to break off, and Florida's going to break off, and Texas, right?
Yeah.
These are the prime suspects for the United States. What about Russia? Where? What
Some
territories?
people say the North Caucasus. So that's not just Chechnya, that's also Dagestan.
Okay.
Dagestan and Chechnya would be the most
Obvious.
candidates.
Yeah.
Maybe the Russian Far East.
Okay.
Places like Buryatia,
Uh-huh.
where there are, Buryats living,
Right.
or the places with a lot of Tatars. So places that have...
Like Kazan, maybe?
Yeah, places like that.
Okay.
Places that have a strong enough local nationalist or ethnic identity.
But what the percentage chance? I would say 10% that's going to happen. What do you think?
So I think maybe you're envisioning a situation where these republics just start saying, bye-bye, Russia, we're gone. But what if Russia experiences a crushing military defeat such that the entire power structure breaks down? And what if one of the conditions of surrender is a restructuring of the entire power system, governance system?
So more autonomy given to these regions, for example.
or even like
Like a federation.
a formal breakup of the country. Yeah, or
like a Yugoslavia type
something
of
like
thing.
that. Yeah.
Okay, I hear you. But percentage chance of that, what do you think? I think that's low. But what do you think?
I think that's too many steps in the future to really foresee. I think there are different.
But I'm
ways it
paying
could
you a
go.
lot of money for
Yeah.
this interview, so I want to get an accurate percentage.
23% there.
I think
23%.
Okay, fine. We've heard it here first. Richard Delong. Okay, final things. Let's talk about the future. We talked a little bit about Ukraine.
Yeah.
What about Slovakia? What about Georgia? What do you think the future is? Now you've got all these Russian immigrants coming in, evading the war. Do you feel it on the street? Do you feel like all of a sudden there's a...
You see it on the street. Obviously, there are a lot more Slavic faces. You feel it on social media because a lot of Georgians express dissatisfaction with this.
But at the same time, hold on.
Yeah.
Georgians are benefiting from all the money that the Russians are pouring in.
Don't tell anyone that. Yes, that's true. On the one hand, the more people that come in, the greater the economic benefits. And let me give you some examples. These people come in, they need to convert their currency to the local currency, which is boosting the currency. It's making the lari and the Armenian dram stronger versus the dollar.
Correct.
One of the very few currencies
And certainly
in the
the
world that
ruble.
are strengthening
Right.
against the dollar.
Interesting.
And that gives the governments of those countries the opportunity to pay off some of their dollar-denominated debt.
Got it.
Because they've got a stronger currency, they can print a bit more of that currency to return to the former exchange rate. Just print off money, exchange it for dollars, and pay off the debt.
On the other hand,
if there are too many immigrants too fast, it creates social tensions. Because the locals who have their identity and feel like they're in charge here start to feel like they're not in charge. But again, this is kind of a power dynamic. If you go outside and you see groups of young, groups of men just standing around,
go ahead.
talking and feeling like they're in charge.
Right.
If you walk a bit further and you see a group of, say, Russian men doing the same thing, just standing around on the street, acting like they're in charge of their place, even the fact of people just standing around in large enough numbers creates social tensions.
Right. Yeah, I think analogy might be that you have Mexicans who come to the United States and they come there with a bit of humility in the sense that they come here, can we work, can we do something, that kind of stuff, versus if a Russian might come to Georgia and say, yeah, this used to be our territory here and I'm a badass, that would be a very different attitude if they came in that way.
That is correct. However, my experience is that they're coming humbly.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
However,
because I think Americans, when they go to Mexico, they're coming with more arrogance. A U.S. citizen goes to Mexico, and they're like, I'm from North America, no, I'm badass.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that. And Russian tourists, or a certain percentage of Russian tourists, have had that attitude in the past, coming to Georgia.
But not now.
I think now they're a bit
more humble.
They're more humble. I'm talking about the tourists.
Correct.
And the people fleeing mobilization are much more humble.
Right.
Okay. They
are grateful.
Many of them are very scared actually when they enter the country. Maybe they've been told that you can't speak Russian here.
Right.
Everyone hates Russia, and they still come, and they're just fearful for people's attitudes.
I've seen graffiti in Georgia. Fuck Russia. Many places.
There are streets where you see anti-Russia graffiti every 10 meters.
Yeah, and same thing in Armenia, by the way.
Yeah. Even though Armenia is nominally more pro-Russia than Georgia.
If people want to follow you, Rick, and hear more of your insights or talk to you, where can they reach you?
I can refer you to my website on language learning, where I've condensed my experience from learning 10 different languages. Okay, one of those was my native language. Maybe that doesn't count. And that website is called frictionlessmastery.com.
Excellent.
Yeah, right. So if you want to learn my insights for mastering any language to any level, that's where you go.
Fabulous. Richard, it's been a pleasure. And
likewise.
I hope next time it won't go so long since I talk to you again.
Yeah.
This is French Tapon encouraging you to wander and learn.